Winners are not born with some magical gene that guarantees success. The idea that only a select few have what it takes is a myth that limits too many people from reaching their potential. What separates a winner from the rest of the world is the mindset they choose to cultivate, the daily habits they commit to, and the way they respond to challenges. Every decision, no matter how small, stacks over time, creating the foundation for extraordinary achievement. It is in the consistent, often invisible effort that winners are forged. The process begins with self-awareness. Winners spend time understanding their strengths, their weaknesses, and the unique value they bring to the table. They do not pretend to be flawless. Instead, they acknowledge where they are, accept responsibility for where they fall short, and design a path forward that maximizes their abilities. This level of awareness is not arrogant or self-indulgent. It is precise, intentional, and deeply grounded in reality. Without it, no amount of effort will translate into lasting success. Resilience is a critical part of the making of a winner. Life is inherently unpredictable, and challenges come to everyone. The difference lies in how a person responds. Winners view setbacks not as failures, but as feedback. They dissect problems, extract lessons, and pivot strategically without losing momentum. This mindset allows them to turn obstacles into opportunities, learning from every experience and growing stronger with each trial. Resilience is a muscle, and winners train it daily. Another factor that shapes winners is discipline. Talent can be fleeting, and luck is unreliable, but discipline creates consistent progress. Winners commit to routines that align with their goals, whether it is dedicating hours to learning, practicing skills relentlessly, or maintaining the mental and physical stamina necessary to perform under pressure. This kind of discipline is not restrictive. It is liberating because it channels energy toward meaningful achievements instead of wasted effort. The stories we tell ourselves also play a profound role. Winners recognize the internal narrative they carry shapes their reality. A mindset rooted in limitation breeds hesitation, fear, and stagnation, while a narrative centered on possibility cultivates courage, initiative, and creativity. They speak to themselves with encouragement and conviction, reinforcing their capacity to act and to achieve. By controlling this internal dialogue, winners set the tone for every thought, decision, and action. Winners also embrace continuous learning. They understand that knowledge and skill are never finite, and that growth requires constant adaptation. They seek mentors, read voraciously, ask questions, and absorb insights from every interaction. Failure is not shameful, ignorance is. By approaching life with curiosity, winners ensure that they are never stagnant, always evolving, and constantly expanding their toolkit for success. Environment is another crucial factor. Winners surround themselves with people who challenge them, support them, and hold them accountable. Toxic environments, negative influences, or unsupportive peers can easily derail progress. By choosing associations carefully and fostering relationships that inspire growth, winners create an ecosystem where success is not only possible but inevitable. They understand that the company they keep influences both their mindset and their trajectory. Action is the ultimate differentiator. Thinking, planning, and speaking are critical, but without decisive action, they remain unrealized potential. Winners do not wait for perfect conditions. They start where they are with the resources available. They take calculated risks, step outside comfort zones, and confront fear head-on. Action reinforces confidence, sharpens judgment, and creates momentum that compounds over time, propelling them closer to their goals every single day. Patience and persistence are essential companions in this journey. The making of a winner is rarely instant. It requires the ability to stay committed through long periods of effort without immediate reward. Winners understand that meaningful achievements often take time, and they resist the temptation to abandon progress for short-term gratification. By cultivating patience, they can sustain effort, maintain focus, and weather the inevitable ups and downs of life without losing sight of their ultimate objectives. Finally, winners cultivate gratitude and perspective. They recognize that the journey itself holds value beyond any measurable success. By appreciating small victories, acknowledging the contributions of others, and staying humble amidst achievement, winners maintain a balanced mindset that fuels continued growth. Gratitude reinforces resilience, patience, and focus, creating a mindset where challenges are embraced, learning is constant, and the drive to excel never diminishes. Clarity of purpose is the compass that guides every decision, action, and thought a person takes. Without it, energy is scattered, priorities are muddled, and progress becomes a matter of chance rather than intentional design. Winners understand that knowing why they do something is more powerful than simply knowing what to do. Purpose is not a vague aspiration or a fleeting ambition. It is a deeply rooted understanding of what drives you, what you stand for, and what you refuse to compromise on. Purpose begins with self-reflection. It requires stepping back from the noise of daily life and asking the difficult questions: what truly matters to me? What kind of legacy do I want to leave behind? What values define who I am, even when no one is watching? These questions are not easy, and the answers are often uncomfortable because they challenge us to confront mediocrity, excuses, and half-hearted commitments. But winners embrace the discomfort, knowing that clarity comes from honesty and self-awareness. A clear purpose aligns actions with intention. When a person knows why they are pursuing a goal, every choice becomes easier, every obstacle becomes navigable, and every effort gains momentum. Winners do not waste time reacting to circumstances or following trends. Their decisions are deliberate, and their actions are consistent with the larger mission they have defined for themselves. This alignment between thought, word, and action creates a force that is difficult to resist and impossible to ignore. Purpose also fosters resilience. Challenges are inevitable, but when the reason behind your actions is unshakable, setbacks lose their power to derail you. Winners with clarity of purpose treat obstacles as temporary and solvable rather than permanent and limiting. Their goals are rooted in meaning, not fleeting desires, which gives them the strength to endure hardships, adapt to change, and continue moving forward when others would falter or quit. Having a clear purpose transforms focus. In a world overflowing with distractions, it is easy to drift into activity without progress. Winners use purpose as a filter, allowing them to say no to what does not matter and yes to what moves them closer to their goals. Every opportunity is evaluated through the lens of its alignment with their mission, which eliminates wasted energy, reduces indecision, and accelerates growth. Focus without purpose is busy work. Focus with purpose becomes unstoppable momentum. Clarity of purpose also shapes communication. When a person understands why they do what they do, their words carry conviction, inspire action, and attract like-minded people. Winners speak with intention, not to impress or persuade superficially, but to express authenticity and rally others toward a shared vision. Purpose-driven language builds credibility, influence, and trust because it emanates from a deep, unwavering understanding of one's mission. Purpose provides a framework for setting meaningful goals. Without a guiding reason, goals can feel arbitrary, superficial, or disconnected from long-term aspirations. Winners ensure that every target they pursue is a stepping stone toward their ultimate mission. Each objective is designed to challenge them, develop their skills, and bring them closer to the fulfillment of their purpose. This approach transforms routine efforts into a deliberate journey toward significance. Clarity of purpose fuels motivation, even when circumstances are difficult. Life is full of moments when external rewards are absent, when progress is slow, and when the path forward is uncertain. Winners do not rely solely on external validation because their purpose provides an internal source of energy. It is this intrinsic motivation that allows them to persevere, maintain discipline, and continue striving when others would abandon the effort. Understanding purpose also strengthens decision making. Winners are faced with countless choices every day, and without clarity, indecision can paralyze progress. Purpose serves as a lens through which every option is evaluated. When a choice aligns with core values and long-term objectives, it is embraced. When it does not, it is discarded. This clarity simplifies complex situations, reduces stress, and ensures that every action contributes meaningfully to their overarching mission. Finally, clarity of purpose creates a sense of fulfillment and direction that transcends external success. Winners recognize that achievement alone is not enough. It is meaningful achievement, driven by aligned values and intentions, that creates lasting satisfaction. Purpose shapes identity, strengthens commitment, and provides a North Star for navigating life's uncertainties, ensuring that every effort is infused with significance, intentionality, and impact. Speaking with authenticity and conviction is one of the most powerful tools a person can possess. It is not about using the most impressive vocabulary, sounding confident, or commanding attention superficially. True authenticity comes from aligning your words with your values, your beliefs, and your purpose. Conviction arises when you genuinely believe in what you are saying and are willing to stand behind it, even in the face of doubt, criticism, or opposition. When these two qualities merge, communication becomes a force that moves people, shapes decisions, and inspires action. Authenticity begins with self-awareness. To speak authentically, you must first understand yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, your passions, and your principles. This requires deep reflection and honesty because without clarity of self, words can easily become performative, hollow, or misaligned with true intention. Winners invest time in understanding who they are, what they stand for, and how their unique voice can add value to every interaction. This foundation makes every word resonate with purpose and integrity. Conviction is born from preparation and belief. Speaking confidently does not mean ignoring uncertainty or pretending to have all the answers. It means understanding the topic, internalizing its significance, and communicating it with a certainty grounded in knowledge and experience. When your conviction is rooted in understanding and practice, it naturally commands attention. People are drawn not to arrogance, but to the clarity and confidence that come from genuine belief in what is being expressed. Words carry energy. Winners understand that what they say shapes not only how others perceive them, but also how they perceive themselves. Speaking authentically reinforces self-belief, strengthens commitment to goals, and amplifies confidence. Conversely, inconsistent or dishonest communication undermines credibility, erodes trust, and saps internal confidence. Every sentence spoken is an opportunity to reinforce your identity, values, and vision, making authenticity and conviction both an internal and external practice. Authentic communication also requires vulnerability. Winners do not hide behind polished facades or scripted statements. They are willing to show humility, admit mistakes, and share lessons learned. Vulnerability builds trust and relatability, allowing others to connect with the speaker on a deeper level. Conviction combined with vulnerability creates a rare and compelling dynamic where authority is tempered with approachability and leadership is expressed through sincerity rather than dominance. Consistency is a key element. Authenticity cannot be selective or situational. Words must consistently reflect values and purpose across all contexts, whether in private conversations, public speeches, or digital communication. Winners ensure that what they communicate aligns with their actions, reinforcing credibility and influence. Over time, this consistency builds reputation, fosters trust, and establishes a voice that is unmistakably reliable and impactful. Listening is a complementary aspect of authentic communication. Speaking with conviction does not mean monopolizing dialogue or disregarding others' perspectives. Winners engage in active listening, responding thoughtfully rather than reflexively. They understand that genuine communication is a two-way exchange, where listening amplifies clarity, strengthens relationships, and allows for more meaningful, purpose-driven responses. Authenticity is as much about hearing as it is about speaking. The impact of speaking with authenticity and conviction extends beyond persuasion. It inspires action. When people encounter someone whose words are aligned with their truth, whose conviction is unwavering, they are motivated to act, follow, and participate. Authentic language communicates possibility, creates trust, and cultivates belief, not only in the speaker, but in the vision or goal being presented. Words become catalysts for momentum and change. Challenges are inevitable, but authentic communicators confront them directly. Winners do not shy away from difficult conversations, controversial opinions, or critical feedback. They speak with conviction even when the message is uncomfortable, understanding that clarity and honesty are more valuable than appeasement or superficial harmony. In doing so, they maintain integrity, foster respect, and create an environment where truth is prioritized over convenience. Finally, speaking authentically with conviction requires courage. It demands the willingness to risk judgment, rejection, or misunderstanding in order to remain true to oneself. Winners accept that not everyone will agree or approve, yet they continue to communicate with clarity, intention, and honesty. This courage fuels influence, builds trust, and reinforces their identity, ensuring that every word spoken is a reflection of their values, vision, and unwavering commitment to their purpose. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is an essential part of the journey toward it. Winners understand that every setback, mistake, or disappointment carries a lesson that cannot be learned any other way. Failure is not a sign of weakness or inadequacy. It is a mirror that reflects where improvement is needed and an opportunity to adjust strategies, refine skills, and grow stronger. Embracing failure with the right mindset transforms what could be a stopping point into a launching pad for progress. Resilience is the companion to failure. It is the ability to withstand adversity, recover quickly, and maintain forward momentum even when circumstances seem insurmountable. Winners cultivate resilience intentionally through repeated exposure to challenges, by learning to control their response to stress, and by reinforcing the belief that setbacks are temporary and solvable. This mental toughness is not innate. It is built through experience, reflection, and conscious practice. Failing forward requires shifting perspective. Winners do not view mistakes as endpoints. They see them as data points, feedback that informs the next step. Each failure reveals what does not work, highlights areas for improvement, and illuminates paths that had not been considered. By interpreting setbacks as opportunities rather than threats, winners convert potential discouragement into actionable insight, turning mistakes into stepping stones rather than obstacles. Preparation and reflection are crucial components. When failure occurs, winners analyze what went wrong without judgment or self-condemnation. They dissect decisions, processes, and outcomes to extract lessons that can be applied immediately. This disciplined approach ensures that every setback contributes to progress rather than being wasted as frustration or regret. Reflection paired with action creates a cycle of continuous improvement that accelerates growth over time. A resilient mindset also requires emotional regulation. Failures often trigger feelings of fear, doubt, and disappointment. Winners learn to acknowledge these emotions without allowing them to dominate behavior. They use emotional awareness to process setbacks, maintain clarity, and make rational decisions in the face of adversity. This emotional discipline is what separates those who are paralyzed by failure from those who rise stronger after every challenge. Resilience is reinforced through persistence. Success rarely comes on the first attempt, and winners accept that multiple efforts may be necessary to achieve meaningful goals. They do not view repeated setbacks as discouragement, but as natural components of the process. Each attempt, regardless of outcome, builds skill, deepens understanding, and strengthens the capacity to succeed in future efforts. Persistence and resilience work hand in hand to create momentum that ultimately leads to achievement. Support systems play a vital role in resilience. Winners recognize that navigating failure is easier when surrounded by people who encourage, challenge, and hold them accountable. Mentors, peers, and allies provide perspective, offer guidance, and remind individuals of their capabilities during moments of doubt. While resilience is ultimately internal, external support enhances its development and provides reinforcement during the most challenging moments. Winners also embrace calculated risk. Failing forward requires the willingness to step into uncertainty, try new approaches, and experiment with strategies that may not guarantee success. Without risk, growth is stunted and opportunities remain unexplored. The courage to act despite the possibility of failure is a hallmark of those who achieve extraordinary results, because they understand that every risk carries potential insight, learning, and advancement. Learning from failure creates adaptability. Winners do not cling rigidly to plans or methods when evidence shows they are ineffective. Instead, they adjust strategies, pivot approaches, and remain flexible in pursuit of their goals. This adaptability ensures that setbacks do not derail progress, but instead inform smarter decisions moving forward. Resilience, combined with the ability to learn and adapt, allows winners to navigate an ever-changing environment with confidence and effectiveness. Ultimately, failing forward strengthens character. Each challenge faced, each mistake processed, and each obstacle overcome builds confidence, patience, and perseverance. Winners emerge from failure not diminished, but empowered, with a clearer understanding of their abilities and a heightened capacity to achieve. The lessons embedded in every setback become tools for future success, creating a mindset where failure is no longer feared but welcomed as a critical element of growth. Thinking and planning are important, but without action, they remain unrealized potential. Winners understand that ideas alone are powerless. It is the steps taken toward their execution that create tangible results. Action transforms vision into reality, turning concepts and goals from abstract notions into measurable achievements. Every moment spent hesitating is an opportunity lost, and winners recognize that momentum comes from doing, not just dreaming. The courage to act is essential. Many people know what they want and can articulate it clearly, but few take the initiative to pursue it. Winners embrace discomfort, uncertainty, and risk as inherent parts of action. They move forward even when conditions are imperfect, understanding that waiting for the perfect moment often results in inaction. The act of starting, no matter how small or tentative, ignites the chain reaction that eventually produces meaningful outcomes. Action requires prioritization. Winners are deliberate about where they focus their energy and time, understanding that effort is a limited resource. They identify high-impact activities that directly advance their goals and avoid distractions that consume energy without yielding results. By concentrating on what truly matters, they maximize the effectiveness of each action and ensure that every step moves them closer to their vision. Consistency amplifies results. Action is not a single event but a sustained practice. Winners commit to repeated efforts, knowing that mastery, progress, and transformation occur over time. Daily actions, no matter how incremental, compound to produce extraordinary results. Inconsistent effort, on the other hand, diminishes potential and stalls progress. Winners recognize that success is the product of persistence and relentless execution over the long term. Taking action also involves embracing uncertainty. Winners understand that outcomes cannot always be predicted and that mistakes are inevitable along the way. They approach challenges with curiosity rather than fear, experimenting, learning, and adjusting as they progress. This willingness to act despite incomplete information separates those who achieve results from those who remain stuck in analysis, waiting for conditions that may never exist. Action is fueled by clarity of purpose. Winners know exactly what they are aiming for, which allows them to act decisively and confidently. Purpose acts as a guiding force, ensuring that energy is directed toward meaningful outcomes rather than wasted on trivial pursuits. When actions are aligned with intention, they generate momentum, reinforce commitment, and build confidence through tangible progress. Collaboration enhances action. Winners do not operate in isolation. They understand that leveraging the skills, knowledge, and energy of others multiplies impact. Taking action often involves coordinating with teams, seeking mentorship, or engaging communities to accelerate results. By combining individual initiative with collective effort, winners create a force that is far more powerful than solo effort alone. Adaptability is a crucial element of effective action. Even the most well-planned efforts encounter obstacles, changes, and unforeseen challenges. Winners respond to these situations with flexibility, adjusting strategies and finding new paths toward their objectives. Action without adaptation risks stagnation or failure, but action paired with responsiveness ensures continuous progress and keeps goals within reach despite shifting circumstances. Reflection strengthens future action. Winners regularly evaluate the results of their efforts, measuring outcomes, identifying lessons learned, and refining methods. This feedback loop ensures that every action, whether successful or flawed, contributes to improvement and growth. By integrating reflection into the process, action becomes smarter, more purposeful, and increasingly effective over time. Ultimately, action bridges the gap between imagination and achievement. Dreams, plans, and intentions gain substance only when steps are taken to bring them into reality. Winners understand that movement, effort, and execution are non-negotiable components of success. Ideas remain dormant without action, but when combined with decisive, persistent, and purposeful effort, thought transforms into measurable results. Goals become accomplishments, and potential becomes reality. Taking ownership of your life is the single most powerful step toward achieving real success and fulfillment. It is the conscious decision to stop blaming circumstances, other people, or external events for the outcomes you experience, and to recognize that you are the architect of your own reality. Winners understand that every choice, every action, and every response shapes the trajectory of their life, and they refuse to relinquish that power to chance or external forces. Ownership begins with accountability. Winners do not make excuses or rationalize failures. They accept full responsibility for their decisions and the results that follow. This mindset is not about self-blame, but about control, recognizing that while you cannot always influence every situation, you can always influence your response. Accountability turns passivity into action and transforms obstacles into opportunities for growth. Clarity of goals and values is essential to taking ownership. Winners define what success means to them personally rather than adopting society's standards or the expectations of others. They articulate their values, priorities, and long-term vision, and they use these as the foundation for every decision. With clear objectives, choices become intentional, energy is focused, and direction replaces drift. Without this clarity, it is easy to surrender control to circumstance or external pressures. Self-discipline is a core element of ownership. Winners cultivate the ability to manage time, energy, and resources with intention. They make conscious choices about what to focus on, what to let go of, and how to allocate effort for maximum impact. Discipline is not a form of restriction. It is the practice of prioritizing actions that align with long-term goals rather than immediate gratification. Ownership thrives when actions are intentional rather than reactive. Taking ownership also involves embracing courage. Winners recognize that the path to achievement is rarely smooth, and fear is an inevitable companion. Ownership requires facing fears, making difficult decisions, and taking responsibility for the outcomes, regardless of comfort or risk. Courage allows individuals to step into uncertainty, confront challenges, and act decisively rather than waiting for external validation or permission. Proactivity is a hallmark of ownership. Winners anticipate obstacles, seek solutions before problems escalate, and take initiative rather than waiting for opportunities to present themselves. They understand that life does not happen to them. They make life happen. This proactive approach ensures that they remain in control of their circumstances, creating momentum and shaping the environment around them rather than being shaped by it. Ownership demands resilience. Challenges, setbacks, and failures are inevitable, but winners refuse to let these define them or their future. They recover quickly, learn from mistakes, and adapt strategies to stay on course. Resilience turns adversity into a teacher and strengthens the capacity to persevere, reinforcing the principle that taking responsibility for your life includes taking responsibility for how you respond to hardships. Winners also cultivate self-reliance. They develop the skills, knowledge, and mindset needed to navigate life independently while still seeking collaboration when it adds value. Ownership is not about isolation. It is about recognizing your capacity to act and influence outcomes. By trusting their own judgment and abilities, winners maintain control over their choices and reduce dependency on others for validation or direction. Decision-making is strengthened through ownership. Winners recognize that their life is the sum of the choices they make every day. They evaluate options based on their goals and values, accept the consequences of their decisions, and learn from each experience. This disciplined approach to choice-making creates consistency, clarity, and a trajectory of growth that reflects their personal vision rather than the influence of external factors. Finally, taking ownership transforms identity and self-perception. Winners see themselves as capable, responsible, and empowered individuals who have the ability to shape their reality. They no longer view themselves as victims of circumstance, but as creators of their future. Every action, decision, and habit reinforces this identity, creating a life characterized by agency, purpose, and continuous progress.